Welcome to another day of Ether Raids. We are taking on a Japanese player. Well, I said I would stop saying that. So yeah, we survived the cold. The White Walkers did not take our lives. We are still kicking, even though that winter storm was quite a surprise. I've never seen this much snow in general here, so pretty crazy. But snow is overrated, man. It hits you in the face, gets in your eyes. It's pretty annoying. It's difficult to walk on. Not all glitz and glamours, in my opinion. But anyways, we're gonna do this one with Tana here. I don't really know how I'm gonna get up here, but I guess I'll just figure something out as I move along here. Sigurd is pretty much the fail safe just to make sure that everything works smoothly. If it is that I do mess something up, but we should be fine either way. But yeah, that is what we're gonna do. That aside, I've been making some teams for SDS. Not quite sure, I don't know, it's just another week of SD. I don't really feel motivated or I don't feel ultra competitive this week. There has been weeks that I've felt like ridiculously competitive going into an SDS run, but this week I'm just putting some teams together, trying to see if they'll work or not. I've ultimately just given up on the Ike idea, not really for it. What I'm noticing in SD is that Canto control has become quite a luxury. It's not I can't find a spot to fit Canto control on a lot of my teams lately. And I don't know if that's because infantry units just aren't as great anymore, or that's probably it, I want to say, because there aren't that many great infantry units that you can really bring into SD at the moment. A lot of it is cav focus or armored focus or melee focus. And the melee units that you're going to bring into SD, they kind of don't want to run Canto control because either follow-up or barricade, or Canto control is getting a lot of competition from some of the other C skills that have come out recently. And that's kind of interesting in the sense that Canto control is very, very good in SDS. SDR as well is very good. Very, very good. So for it to be second place to something like Barricade, it's kind of interesting. But then also there's the counterplay that what's that one skill? The Lin Ring, where the Canto control kind of doesn't matter if your opponent isn't moving. So if they're able to snipe you from across the map, then really does the Canto control matter? It's always going to be outside of the range. So there's also that argument to it. We're finding that less and less opponents are trying to get into your team and attack from melee range or from 2 spaces away. It's becoming a little bit less common, even though it still happens. It's not low frequency, but it's people are opting to either use the Lin Ring, Lin herself, or if they're going in from melee range, it's some type of Omni tank that's just going to sit there, and you're not going to be able to really do anything about the Omni tank after they attack. So it's an interesting what I want to say, meta or era for SD, and I don't know how long it'll last. But then also there's the problem of not having because firm Canto control came out and we were able to just put that on all of our units, but then that's been a couple of months now and we haven't really gotten a way to really replicate some of that Canto control fodder. We haven't gotten an infantry, Layla aside, who really would prefer to run Lookout Force in her C skill, which is also one of the things that has been competing with Canto control. So yeah, Layla aside, we haven't really gotten an infantry fodder bank that we can really use to put Canto control on stuff. So I don't know, it's really interesting. This is the word that I'm ending up on, because primarily for me, I find that I'm gravitating more towards Hearthvulgar as a frontliner, even though that's not her best role, but she's not typically going to get doubled. So, you know, there's just a lot of benefits to running her there. But then the downside is that she's a flyer and she can't run Canto Control, and there really isn't any space. Like for the team compositions, it's Hersfelger, an armored unit, a cav, and I have legendary Crom. But for Crom, mobility wise, I kind of need to run guidance, not guidance, a warp, that attack speed warp one, I forget what it's called, that allows you to warp and gives you attack speed up 6. So I have to run that in a C slot instead of Canto Control, because I need the additional mobility, because there's no one there that gives me guidance on that particular team. So it's kind of like really hard to put together a team composition these days that you can find space for Canto Control. And the other team with Hersfelder, I don't even remember like who's on that team, but I think it's probably Bridget and some other units. I probably want to say Makaya, maybe, I don't know. But
ready to go.
Again, Bridget would probably be the only one that I'd run Canto Control on. And for Bridget, I really like, she really wants to get that Deadeye. Oh, I forgot that she's also an Attune unit that you can copy. Okay, so there's her. But I didn't really put a lot of, I didn't give her Canto Control, so I can't really fodder a bunch of her around. I really was using her for Speed Taker. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, she doesn't really want to run Canto Control. She really wants to get her special off on the first hit, depending on the cooldown that you're running for your special. So she'd really prefer to run something like Creation Pulse. Works very well on her. So it's difficult to swap that out for Canto Control. Yeah, she just doesn't get as much killing power as she would typically need, although she does hit for 99s majority of the time, so maybe it's worth it to swap it out. I don't know, but that's another team that just doesn't have Canto Control on it. And then for Sita really wants the extra speed, so it's difficult to run Canto Control there. And then I have, who's the what's his face? Christmas Alir. And he would rather run like some type of, he'd rather run either Barricade, or for this one I have him running his the Scowl for this particular SDS season. I have him running the Scowl because it's just teching better. It's doing better into the matchups. He needs it a little bit more for this particular configuration that I have him on. So I don't know, it's hard. Maybe it's just a me thing. Maybe everyone else doesn't have a problem with fitting it in, but it's kind of a challenge for me. And then looking at just like the opponents, this map in particular, it's very vertical, so I'm finding that most opponents aren't even bothering to run away. They're just getting right in there and then just sitting in your face and just like forcing you to initiate. And then it combos so well with that playstyle combos so well with the captain seals that are currently in play, Impregnable and what is that other one again? The one that makes the map go up and down. I forget what it's called, but that one is really, those two are really, really good, and they don't really require Canto Control either. They just want stats. And they just want to make sure that the unit survives. So, yeah, I don't know. Just some thoughts. I've been rambling on about like Canto Control. It probably doesn't even matter to you if you're not like playing SDS or SD heavily. So, yeah, just random topic, I guess. I've been able to figure out a way to get through this with Sigurd so far. He's been the one that has really just been doing the majority of the work here. And also, you know, GG's on Tana being able to take out Tree Man there. That was actually really important to allow me to then warp around the map. I was actually kind of stuck there, but it wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world, because we still would have been able to shut down Hector here, Sigurd here, which is really the only threat on this defense aside from
I see.
Yeah, he was really the only one. Yeah, it's just a bunch of armored units and Sigurd. And the armored units we can deal with the AoE damage, and then Sigurd we can deal with you know, whatever we have left. so it wasn't too much of a challenge for this particular match. Anyways, I don't know. I think that's pretty much all I've got. I don't have any other topics that I can think of to talk about.
Ready to go.
Oh, I was looking at the calendar. I was really aside from the fact that we got a double mythic the last time the mythic ran, I don't see there's nothing. I think I mentioned that before. Yeah, there's nothing really indicating that we're gonna get a double mythic this go around, or mythic and a legendary. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
This is challenging.
I've been watching Magi,
I see.
which is, I don't know, it's a fairly old anime on Netflix, which is kind of weird because I didn't really subscribe to Netflix to watch anime, but the catalog is, just there and easy to access. So it didn't really bother me to just watch it there. I don't know, lately I've been thinking would you be okay, or would you consider subscribing to Netflix just to watch anime? In a world where Crunchyroll doesn't exist, because I feel like Crunchyroll is probably headed in that direction, just looking at some of the stuff that's been happening over there, and just how it's kind of being mismanaged, not making a profit entirely. I feel like Netflix could potentially fill that role in terms of just, an anime library. But I don't also like the fact that there's a lot of shows that you're just not able to watch on Netflix because of where you live, which is really gross. There shouldn't be a restriction to your access to a show or a series just because of where you live in the world. I really don't like that. But then, there's laws and stuff, because China doesn't allow you to watch there's of course the infamous scene where they turn the red blood into white blood, and it looked like a totally different thing. I don't know, you can Google it. It looks really crazy. But censorship is a thing, and Netflix is then also Crunchyroll has to abide by those laws as well. But I don't know, I wouldn't be upset at Netflix having becoming the main source of where we get our anime from. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But I don't know, random side topic, just something that crossed my mind, because I actually just subscribed to Netflix to watch Narcos, and I still have the Netflix subscription. So after watching Narcos, so I don't really know what to do with it now. Maybe I'll just keep it until I finish Squid Games, and then
I'll handle it.
I don't know, I'll probably unsubscribe from Netflix. I don't really use it. Well, the thing is, I'm taking so long to watch this one anime series that it's kind of I might as well just keep it until I've finished, and then when I get to the end, I'm probably going to watch something else. So I don't know, it's kind of it's nice to have around, but I don't really need it at the same time. And then they're going to raise the price yet again, so I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about it. Anyways, GG's. Alright, welcome to another day of Ether Raids. We're taking on, I don't know how to say that, but we're gonna use the Lin team because it feels like it makes the most sense for this layout. It's not completely boxed in. They are able to break the blocks and get out. I don't know. I could have went in also. That would have worked as well, but I don't know. I just felt like this feels right, so we're gonna do this. So to pick up from where I ended my ramblings, so I played my SDS matches, and man, I just wasn't in a competitive. All right, so this is me. Preamble, excuses. I could also have a plus 10 Ascended Fjorm, but the fodder was just so good that I just, I don't know, man. I don't know. The fodder was really, really good. Yeah, but anyways, preamble, this is me giving excuses. So be prepared for excuses. I just wasn't really feeling the competitive edge this season. So I didn't actually perform to the fullest extent of my capabilities for this SDS season run. Looking back at it, some of my teams weren't the greatest just in terms of composition. I remember I was rambling about Canto control and how it's so in a weird spot because it's you really want that C slot on your units to do something with stats. More than likely, unless the unit that you're putting there is not going to be in combat, and that's kind of a untenable position in terms of if you're going to bring a unit that's a non-combat unit into SDS, they have to really pull their weight. It's not something that you can just slap on a team. I mean, you're looking at someone like Sedith, and Sedith pulls his weight. So to just bring someone into SD that isn't a combat unit just to run Canto control, not the greatest. So I don't know. I was a little bit. And the reason I bring this up is because I got bodied by a Brave Alphonse twice. There were two teams that had Brave Alphonse, and none of my teams could actually take him out, which was so bizarre. Given the state of my nukes, I had Lin. He actually survives against Emblem Lin, which is insane. And who else? Well, I had a Micaiah, but he was like, they really played around my Micaiah, so I wasn't able to get into position to snipe. I don't know, man. I think maybe I would have been better off just bringing more Micaiahs. And then one of the things that really hurt one of my team, or two of my team compositions, is that Hertzfelger just like dies, well, not really dies, but it crumbles to debuffs, and that's what was happening. For two of those team compositions, we were getting hit with like Micaiah debuffs plus like Spring Mirabilis, so it just wasn't great. As hard as she can hit, she still needs to have her stats to function. It's not like she has penalty neutralization in combat, you know? So yeah, it was a real pain trying to get through it. Trying to figure out how to build the teams was actually a bit annoying this session. I feel like I had good units, or I have good units. I couldn't put them together in a way that made sense for the map, and that was really where I ultimately lost the majority of the games. It was from the beginning, I just didn't build good teams, and I think that's really what it boils down to. A lot of them were focused on getting Neathauger in, and I feel like that was a great strategy, or at least two of them were focused on that, but only one of them had the Celica ring, so the other one was like, how do I reposition her all the way up here and make her a menace? And then the last team was, I was really trying out the new Marissa, and she is very good. A lot of applications for her. I find that she's unfortunately kind of tied to the tank units, in particular the armors, because typically they have the highest HP on your team, and it's kind of difficult to build around that because they can really scale up to like 60s, 70s, 80s, so it's kind of hard to avoid that that setup where you're or to even pair that with something else, because you're not really matching that with any of your other units. So typically she is, unless you're like intentionally supporting her with someone, which is what I did. I supported her with Legendary Crom, and I think that's actually fantastic for him. Man, he is so good. He's really, I feel like currently his best build is like Wind Sweep and then some sort of null follow-up somewhere, but I just couldn't get it, which is what I ended up doing. But I just, ultimately, the team composition that I had was him, Bernadetta, Marissa, I forget who the far save was. Not Hector. Hector was getting destroyed. It was so weird. Hector was just consistently getting destroyed, so it wasn't Hector. I think I went with Larather for that team. And then one other unit.
This is challenging.
Haythrun was just also completely bodying me. I could not get through her. And it was so bizarre. I didn't understand it. It was so weird. But yeah, let's play one more match. GG's. Alright, we got Mayu today with this one, and we're gonna go with the Tana team. So this is also, you know, I've showed this off this week already, so you've already seen it. It performs very well. You should be able to get this done pretty quickly. So yeah, Haythrun was bodying me, picking up from where I left off. I could not get through her. She was really strong on this map, the Mythic version. And the New Year's version is also good, but not as a frontliner, of course. But yeah, the Mythic version was a pain to get through. It was kind of bizarre because normally I don't have any issues getting through her, but then this weapon description is like the shortest thing in the world. Oh my god, it's like, this is it. That's all you're getting. Warping and then Dagger 7. That's crazy. And then this is a really nice cron build, but current meta, you really want to get some type of flash or wind sweep, and that's really what you want. And if you're running wind sweep, you need no follow-up. You could go with the A skill that the new Bridget came with to get it that way. That's also an option. But anyways, normally it's not a problem to get through Hathern, but I really struggled this SDS session because I benched Felix. And I just couldn't fit him onto any of my teams, which is really... I felt bad doing that because aside from him, I really don't have any red units that I would typically bring into SD, and it was really a glaring thing because I had to build my bands around avoiding blue units, and I did not like that. So that's something that I want to like put in the forefront of my mind moving forward. Well, then again, I don't know how much longer, someone like Hathern has left in the meta, so we'll see how that pans out. But I'm looking to pull for that one character, Malice, on the Desert Banner. I'm probably going to pull for her just so that I can have more red options, because I feel like I'm definitely lacking when it comes to red units that can do stuff. So aside from Felix, who isn't the greatest in enemy phase, which is really what I wanted, someone who could enemy phase really well. He's very good in player phase, but he doesn't tank well. So I really wanted someone to fill that role, and I'm looking at Malice. Ike is kind of done in that sense, unless you have him heavily invested, and I don't. And he needs team support as well, so tough. But Malice seems to fit the bill, and I think I'm gonna try to get her to +1 and see if I can get her to work. And then also, I think I might invest a bit into Severa as well. I think I was saying that she has the capacity to perform very well because she has the DR piercing in her weapon. But let's see how that pans out, man. This was a quick match. GG's. See you in the next one.